Hello everybody, SoCal Thero here, welcoming you back to another Zmodeler 3 tutorial. So today in this tutorial I'm going to show you guys how I make a template. First things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the template that comes with this vehicle. As you can see, it does come with a template. And as you can hear, that was my cell phone. Let me go ahead and turn that off for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and remove that texture file. So now the vehicle will look a little differently because it doesn't have one. Yep. Now it's just a blank template or a blank slate basically. So now our vehicle needs a template for it, which is going to be pretty simple to do because in the last tutorial we did the dirt mapping and we already got the vehicle all separated like this. So it's pretty much all we need to continue to do a template. So I do apologize in advance that this video is very quick. If it does seem pretty quick to you and you're a little lost, I would highly suggest going to the dirt mapping tutorial because it'll show you how to take apart the body panelings for a vehicle to work on it. So today, like I said, we're going to work on this, and as you can see, it's a continuation from the dirt mapping tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and turn everything off. And what you're going to want to do is, again, it's going to be like the dirt mapping. So you want to select stuff that you're going to see on one side. So in this case, I'm going to do the driver's side of the vehicle first. So I'm going to turn on all the pieces that are on the driver's side, which is probably just doors that's left. There we go. I'm going to go to the driver's side here. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to right click. Mapping, edit UV mapping. So what's different from the dirt mapping to this one is you want to edit the UV channel map to 2 because we're making a template and it's marked as channel number 2 for the texture file, which I'll show you here after I do this. Actually, I guess I could show you now. Let me show you now so it's easier. So within here, you have different UV map channels. So manual UV number 2 is this, which this will be also your manual UV number 2, which is where your template's going to be. If you recall in the dirt mapping tutorial, UV number 1 is for your dirt mapping, which is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, actually, the other thing you want to do too is just click that off and then click it back on again, just so you have a clean slate. You're going to go to mapping, edit UV, make sure you're on UV2 from the viewpoint because I clicked in here. That's how I just like to do it. And then you want it to go to this texture file. You're going to go to material. You're going to click on this, and it shouldn't look like this. This was the error I was talking about that you see when you're in the dirt mapping one that sometimes, and you got to be careful for. So like that's obviously not from the viewpoint. That's messed up. So you just redo it again, and there it is. When I'm doing the sides, what I do is I move it down on just the y-axis, because I want these to be aligned up and the same with each other, the left and the right side. So whenever I do the left or the driver's side, I do the right or the passenger side afterwards. So now we're going to turn off everything from the driver's side. We're going to put everything on for the passenger side. We're going to select the view to the right side so it maps it from the right. And we're going to do the same thing here. And then this one, we're going to move down, and I'm going to leave it just slightly above this one so it's not in the way when, actually it might be still in the way. That might not be enough. There we go. Just so they're not touching. So now that we did that, the front bumper is going to be the next thing we do. We're going to be looking for, the piece that I forgot in the dirt mapping tutorial. We're going to do the front of the vehicle. Usually I do this and I do the mirrors for the front. That's just what I do as a preference. And then I'm going to move this over here. And then the next thing to do is the rear bumper, which it's going to use part of the trunk as well. So you're going to go to the rear view of the vehicle or the back of the vehicle. You're going to do mapping, edit, and do the same with it. Again, make sure that it's doing it correctly. And then you want to start working on the miscellaneous stuff. So this looks like it's part of the top of it. So you want to do, so the next thing we're going to do is the roof, or from the top down view. So like this little miscellaneous piece, the hood, the trunk from the top view down. It's probably all the stuff you want to do. So you're going to want to go to the top view, mapping, edit UV. Okay. Then you have this. Actually, what I like to do is I rotate it 90 degrees so it's not taking up too much space, and then I move it out of the way after that, because this is how I make my templates. Next thing is we're gonna kind of go through here and see if there's anything else that we need to do, which it looks like there's not. The last thing we need to do is our door jambs. Door jambs are not seen unless you open doors, so I personally don't worry about the details in them. I just map them to the template so they're there in case somebody wants to make like a black or white or something with their template. But that's just what I do. So we have our door jambs done. We have everything done as far as the paint job is concerned. Now, this is how you make a template for a vehicle, and I'm not going to go into details too much because it's a lot to go over, but this is also how you do UV mapping for textures on vehicles. So somebody has to go through, let me give you a better example. So somebody has to go through and they have to map these textures to the seats. They have to map it to the dashboard, all of that stuff. So I hope that gives you a better appreciation for people who create and release dev models, because it's a lot of work, to say the least. So now that we got our body paneling done, we're going to expand our UV mapper screen here. We're going to select the left and the right side, and I'm going to scale them down together. This way, if somebody is making a paint job, because I suck at liveries, I always have to farm it out and ask people for help. As long as you scale them down together, they'll be the same size. So if somebody's using Photoshop and they want to mirror one side to the other, it makes it a lot easier for them. So we have our left and our right side done. And what you want to do is you don't want to be off the square, but I mean, take up as much of the space as you can, or you utilize as much of the space as you can. So what I'm going to do next is the door jambs. So if somebody wanted to paint the door jambs, I'm actually going to put them where they go. So this is the driver's side. Actually, it probably should be even smaller than that because I don't want them to accidentally touch something else. So this is the driver's side rear one. This is the driver's side front. This is the passenger side rear, and this is the passenger side front. Next, I usually like to do the big part. So this hood and the roof and the trunk is going to be the next thing. You want to scale these down as well, so that way they don't take up your entire template. In the case of this Crown Vic, it's very easy to do. There's not like with other models like Civ cars, it gets kind of difficult, especially if you're doing modded car parts like bumpers and whatnot. You have to include that in the template. So in the case of a cop car, it's pretty easy to just do the basic body paneling here, and then you'll have all this extra space to work with too. So now that we got our roof, we got our hood, we got our roof, and we got our trunk done. Next is to do the front of the vehicle, which we'll use this. And we'll size it down just a bit, and we'll stick it in the corner up here just because we can. And then finally, we're going to do the trunk of the vehicle, or the back of the vehicle. And that's it. Now your template, you just want to make sure none of the polygons or these edges are facing, or not facing, but are sitting off the edge of this. The next thing you want to do is highlight everything that you're mapping right now. So everything here should be mapped, or should be highlighted. Sorry, not like that, but highlighted here. You're going to go to render UV. It's going to come up. You want it to be either 20 by 48 for 2K or 40 by 96 for 4K. I work with 2K because I don't care about 4K, so that's what I do. I believe this underlayer texture is how people do things where you can see like the rainbow kind of look, like what you saw earlier with this template. I'm not 100% sure on that. I just use the white because it's a template. It doesn't need to look pretty. Next, you go to render, and it's going to start to render itself. You can zoom out here and just kind of take a look at it and make sure you're capturing everything that you want from over here, which it looks like we are. I'm going to save it. We're going to get out of the Range Rover I'm working on. go to tutorials, textures, and we'll call this CVP. Actually, we'll just call this 0 sine 1. So when you're doing a template and you want to do multiple templates, you want to name it. I stick to 4 characters, but I guess you don't have to these days. It's just what it used to be. It used to be a problem where if it was more than 4 characters, it didn't recognize it. So I just stick to what I know, which is 4 characters. Then you do an underscore, then sine underscore 1. So if somebody wants to put multiple templates, they'll use 0 sine underscore 1, same thing underscore 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 8. Save. It saves it. You can cancel out of this now. You can unhighlight everything. What you want to do next is you're going to go to your paint here. You're going to select the texture map you want. Again, the texture is not in here, so we can go ahead and remove this. You're going to go to add. You're going to go to where you saved your texture file, which is right here. I like to make this change to mine as well. I don't know if this is correct or not, but this is what I like to do. So it saves it as a DDS file. I like to go in and save it as a PNG file just because it's a little more optimized. Although when you get into GTA 5, it converts it back to a DDS file. So how optimized it is, I don't know. I'm just going to put tutorial by 0. And then we'll blow that up. And save it. There we go. So we want to use this texture. It imports the texture into here. Note, if you have another texture with this same name, it won't import it in here. So make sure it has its own unique name. Go to OK, exit, and exit. And there you go. You can see the lines. Everything looks like it's matching up pretty good. This is a little bit of a concern to me. I don't know if that's broken or not, but it looks like it's okay. The front bumper, you got the polygons up here on the hood, and everything on here looks to be pretty good. Now, I do this in case I ever need to go back and fix things, as well as I do this so people can change colors in GTA 5. This is what I do in order to make a vehicle changeable in game, in case, like with my CHP pack, if you wanted to do a white polar bear, or if you wanted to do a instead of doing black and white, you want to do white, black, whatever your poison is. So in the case of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn everything off. And I'm going to say, if I want to with GTA 5 coloring, I'm going to make it so I can paint this in game as black and white. So I'm going to select this stuff, the stuff that I want, which is going to be, oops, I probably want the left view. And I probably want all of this. Actually, I don't want the roof yet. I want all of this. I want this to be a black and white trim here. So I'm going to just kind of map the line as best as I can. There we go. And I probably don't want all of that. And I'll look down here to make sure it's, yeah, it looks about right. Let me do that inside piece too. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so we're going to detach that. This is just for the sake of making this easier, by the way. You don't have to detach this. So I'm going to turn those off. We got that. We got the roof. The doors we're going to want to do too, because I'm going to make all 4 doors black and white. So each piece that I have here is going to be a different color that you can change in game. Now, if you want to, you don't have to do this part. This is just part of what I like to do. And if you use a template, it's going to override these settings either way. You could just do this if you want to delete the color and let somebody make their own custom color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of this. And as you can see, if I click here, it's assigned to this texture file. So I'm going to copy this texture file. And I'm going to call this vehicle generic small spec map. Then what you want to do is a bracket and type in caps paint : 2 bracket end. So what this does is, now that this is called Paint 2, GTA 5 is going to know that this uses secondary paint. This is how Rockstar gets it to where if you wanted to do a black mirror or do black mirrors but have the car white, this is what they do. So now that we have this as paint 2, I like to do this so it's easier to find. I have my color code set up here. This is what I use for a primary color. I'm going to leave this on the screen just for a second in case you want to create and save that in your custom colors. This is my secondary color. I have this up here again. I'm going to give that a few seconds. If you want, you can pause it and record those numbers for you. This one is for paint 4. This is what I use for wheels and tires. This is the setup that I have for it. These are all taken from the colors from Rockstar Games too. So this is mapped to what they use for colors. This is for paint 6. This is what they use for like trim in the interior and whatnot. And this is for paint 7, which again is for miscellaneous paint, like the trim of the interior or like a cage or something like that. So since this is paint 2, I'm going to use this dark hue here. Since it's a copy of the original one, you don't need to do anything else with this other than assigning it to this. And the easiest way to assign it is when everything is highlighted like this, just click, drag, and drop it there. And now it changes color. See how it's a darker blue? If I turn everything on, you'll see that this is a darker blue now. So if somebody doesn't use the template and they just leave a blank template in the mapping, you can now get a black vehicle and a white secondary color using these parts if you want to. Here's the thing though. Now that you see this, I don't know if you guys can see a problem with it, but if you look here, the door jambs are not painted. So what do you think you do? So next part you're going to do is you're going to turn off everything. You're going to turn on the door jambs. And just to make it easier for me to sort through, I'll do another copy. I'm going to call this vehicle generic door shut. And then I'm going to put paint 2 on it. So you can have multiples in there. It doesn't matter. I'm going to highlight the door jambs and I'm going to apply it to there. So now the door jambs will paint the same color as the rest of it too. And if I want to down the road, like let's say I want to make changes, now I can easily detach the door jambs from the doors instead of doing it the way I had to do in the dirt mapping video. So if I turn everything on, now you can see even the door jambs will be painted white or whatever color you select in GTA 5 for this. So that is how you can do that. And you can do that with anything. You don't have to do it just to doors and the roof. You can have a different color hood, different color fenders, whatever you want to do. Keeping with the color though, what I'll do next is I'll show you guys what I do for the wheels, just because I'll do a whole, you know what, to be fair, I'll do a whole nother video just with the wheels and tires. So now that this is done though, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to attach everything again. So I'm going to turn on everything for the front bumper. You got to make sure nothing's highlighted or this won't work. Go to attach, and I attach everything to the front bumper. Then I'm going to select the rear bumper, and I'm going to attach everything that's associated with that. Then the body shell, I'm going to turn all those on, and then I'm going to start attaching all of those pieces together too. There we go. And I'm going to get an autosave, just because that's what GTA likes to do to me, or GTA Zmodeler likes to do to me. There it goes. Okay. So we got the body shell done. The hood is only one piece, so we don't have to touch that. The trunk is 2, so we'll go ahead and fix that one as well. And then for the doors, I just turn on, oh, I forgot a body shell. Let's go ahead and put that on too. There we go. For the doors, I'll just turn everything on because it's pretty much just click within the door. There you go. The only thing you don't want to do is change the name of it. So the one that I did change to close, I made sure I overrode that one so I didn't accidentally mess it up. And now we're going to start attaching these to their respective parts. So bumper front, you're going to want to attach to the front bumper. Then you can turn it off. The hood, you want to attach to the hood, which you can't see it, but it's underneath there. Body shell, we'll attach that to body shell. And just as a side note too, if you guys can't tell, I always click on this, like the piece that's not the compounded piece, and I attach it to the piece that is compounded. What do I mean by compound? I mean it's in bold letters right here, meaning that it's already been compounded for its specific LOD. And then the next thing I want to do is get rid of that. There we go. Let's go ahead and do the trunk. And then we're going to do the doors. So let's do the driver's side rear. Actually, I could probably just turn on all the doors and then just do it that way. Just make sure you're not clicking on the compound part. And yep, that should be everything. If you're not sure if it's everything or not, turn everything on. And then turn off the LOD, and then you'll see if anything didn't get attached correctly or not. It should look like this. This is only for the first LOD. So when you come up close to the vehicle, this is the template that's going to work. If you get further away, it's going to look broken like this. So you got to make sure if you're doing LODs that all the LODs are accounted for. All right, so the template is done. The paint job is done on the vehicle as far as making it to where if we wanted to do black and white, we can. And I'll go over with you guys in the car variation file how to do that, and like how to get it to spawn that way, or I'll just show you what it does. But I think that's gonna do it for this tutorial. I think in the next tutorial what we'll do is I'll show you guys how I extract texture files. It's not the correct way, but it's the way I do it. Luckily for us, most of the time when you're doing a dev model and it's already set up correctly, you don't even need to. They usually provide you with the YTD file or the textures already. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and make life a little bit more challenging for us, and we're going to do it ourselves. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this tutorial on Zmodeler 3 and how to create a template. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought. And until the next tutorial, I hope you guys have a safe day, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.